to check if you stay away from other girls. So, it's that fine line. I want to keep tabs on you. I want to make sure you don't look at other girls, but I also do want to make sure you're healthy and you're eating, your breakfast and lunch and dinner. So a little bit of both, I think.
That just sounds kind of scary. Are you like, oh.
Okay, and 스롱 says, 내가 그 맘인 거야. 주머니 속에 널어놓고 다니면 정말 행복할 텐데. So he's saying, I feel the same way too about you. I think I'll be really happy if I could keep you in my pocket and just take you around everywhere.
Right.
So, it's like, I don't know. I mean, they're in this little love battle here, but I think in the end, they're just thinking about the same thing. They really care for each other.
Right.
So probably the guy's like, you don't need to say all these things to me. I'll take care of myself. And I feel the same way about you. Just like it's just we express it in different ways. The girl, she cares about me. My girlfriend cares about me. So she expresses it by saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that. Make sure you eat on time. But for guys, it can be a little bit of a burden. So he's saying, you don't need to tell me all this. I already know. And I feel the same way about you. I want to take you around everywhere with me too.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, what do you think? What do you think about, I guess, you mentioned that you would probably be the nagging type of boyfriend.
Right.
But for me personally, I don't like nagging boyfriends.
Oh.
But I think it depends on, what kind of type or what kind of person that you... I think for this kind of struck me as really funny because I've seen a lot more boys or guys being the nagging type than the girls. But here, it's the girl that's doing the nagging, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like coming from like a guy's perspective, like I know where like I guess I can see where IU's coming from. Like if I had a girlfriend, I definitely like I don't want to be like a stalker, but like I would definitely want to keep tabs on her. Like even like I trust her, but like like stuff might happen, so like
it's a dangerous world out there.
It is. I want to keep tabs on her,
So that's what I thought. I always thought that it was the guys who were kind of, they were more kind of thinking about the safety of the girl, making sure she doesn't go home late.
Right.
And, there's a lot of guys who, if they have to send their girlfriend home on a taxi, they write down the taxi number.
Right.
And they, tell the taxi driver, make sure she gets home safe and stuff like that. So I don't know. For me, this was kind of the opposite of what I was really used to. So there's another part of the lyrics that goes, 둘이 아니면 안 되는 우리 이야기 누가 듣는다면 놀려대고 웃을 이야기 그만하자. So they're saying, this is our story, and if other people heard what we were talking about, they would laugh.
Right.
Which makes sense. We listen to this and we're like, they're just worried about, really silly things.
Right.
So IU, she clears it up and she explains what, I guess, this 잔소리 means for a girl by saying, 사랑하다 말할 거면 sorry about this. 사랑하다 말 거라면 안 할 이야기 누구보다 너를 생각하는 마음의 소리. So she's saying, I wouldn't be saying all this if I didn't care about you, if I didn't think that our relationship would last.
Right.
It's from my heart, which only has eyes for you.
Right.
But 스롱, he gives the guy's side of the story, saying 사랑해야 할 수 있는 그런 이야기 내 말 듣지 않는 너에게는 뻔한 잔소리. So he's saying it's something that, we shouldn't do when we're in love. It's just nagging. So, because, of course, you don't listen.
Right. Oh, so, I mean, I can't pick a side, because I understand where both sides are coming from.
Yeah, me too,
so
me
hard.
too. Right, I think that's why this song works so well, because you hear these two voices, going at each other, saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that. But, I'm not listening to you anyways, and, I think about you the same way too. So I think this just shows what it's really like in a relationship. It could be the guy that's doing all the nagging, but it could also be the girl that's doing the nagging as well.
Right, so I don't think it's really a difference between, like, guys and girls. I think it's, like,
in
difference
a couple, right?
Like personalities, like, And I mean, I know you're married, so I'm curious, do you nag at your husband or does your husband nag at you? Or
it's just like the lyric said. if people listen to us fighting over certain stuff, they would just laugh. They would be like, what are they fighting about? Because I usually nag at my husband about where he puts his socks, where he puts his dirty laundry, because he never wants to put it into the laundry basket. So I always nag at him about stuff like that.
Right.
But he nags at me like, go exercise, go work out, eat, 3 times a day, just like what IU said to Arirang in this song. So it's really silly stuff, but we both kind of nag at each other. But my husband is kind of the nagging type, though. He has a lot of chansori. I hope he's not listening.
Our first catch song, IU and 임수롱's 잔소리. I think our listeners really got a good grasp of what the song is talking about. And I guess let's move on to our second catch song.
Okay, this song might be, I don't know, I mean, they're a pretty popular group, but I think the group might be a little bit unfamiliar, especially to our listeners and your fans who, are not in Korea.
Right.
So this song, I think when they first came out, it created like a real big sensation when the group first came out. And they had a number of hits, but I picked one song that's kind of sad if you listen to it, because it's about a person who's kind of lost hope, who's in a very, depressing sort of state in life.
Right.
It's called 싸구려 커피. So, yeah, let's listen to it before we actually get into the lyrics.
I'm actually curious how the song title will be translated.
싸구려 커피.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's listen to the song first. 싸구려 커피 by 장기하와 얼굴들.
싸구려 커피를 마신다. 미지근해 적잖이 속이 쓰려온다. 눅눅한 비닐 장판에 발바닥이 쩍 달라붙었다 떨어진다. 이제는 아무렇지 않아. 바퀴벌레 한 마리쯤 슥 지나가도 무거운 매일 아침엔 다만 그저 약간의 기침이 멈출 생각을 않는다. 축축한 이불을 갠다. 삐걱대는 문을 열고 밖에 나가본다. 아직 덜 갠 하늘이 너무 가까워 숨쉬기가 쉽질 않다. 수만 번 본 것만 같다. 어지러워 쓰러질 정도로 익숙하기만 하다. 남은 것도 없이 텅 빈 나를 잠근다. 싸구려 커피를 마신다. 미지근해 적잖이 속이 쓰려온다. 눅눅한 비닐 장판에 발바닥이 쩍하고 달라붙었다가 떨어진다. 한 몇 년간 세숫대야에 고여있는 물마냥 그냥 완전히 썩어가지고 이거는 뭐 감각이 없어. 비가 내리면 처마 밑에서 쭈그리고 앉아서 멍하니 그냥 가만히 보다 보면은 이거는 뭔가 아니다 싶어. 비가 그쳐도 희금으로 죽죽한 저게 하늘이라고 머리 위를 뒤덮고 있는 건지, 저거는 뭔가 하늘이라고 하기에는 뭔가 너무 낮게 머리카락에 거의 닿게 조금만 뛰어도 정수리를 뿡 하고 지을 것 같은데, 벽장 속 제습제는 벌써 꽉 차 있으나 마나 목이 떨어졌다 번진 피가 묻은 거울을 볼 때마다 약간 놀라. 제멋대로 구부러진 칫솔 같다. 이빨을 닦다 보면은 잇몸에 피가 나게 닦아도 당최 치석은 빠져나올 줄을 몰라. 언제 땄는지도 모르는 미지근한 콜라가 담긴 캔을 입에 가져가 한 모금. 앞볼싸 담배 꽁초가 이제는 장판이 난지 내가 장판인지도 몰라. 해가 뜨기도 전에 지는 이런 상황은 뭔가. 싸구려 커피를 마신다. 미지근해 적잖이 속이 쓰려온다. 눅눅한 비닐 장판에 발바닥이 쩍 달라붙었다 떨어진다. 이제는 아무렇지 않아. 바퀴벌레 한 마리쯤 슥 지나가도 무거운 매일 아침엔 다만 그저 약간의 기침이 멈출 생각을 않는다. 축축한 이불을 갠다. 삐걱대는 문을 열고 밖에 나가 어지러워 숨쉬기가 쉽질 않다 수만 번 본 것만 같다 어지러워 쓰러질 정도로 익숙하기만 하다 남은 것도 없이 텅 빈 나를 잠근다 싸구려 커피를 마신다 미지근해 적잖이 속이 쓰려온다 눅눅한 비닐 장판에 발바닥이 쩍하고 달라붙었다가 떨어진다
Catch the lyrics of K-pop songs with Catch the K-pop AHA on the Tuesday edition of Music Access. We just listened to 장기야와 얼굴들 with 싸구려 커피. And like I felt like the song, like it wasn't really a song, but like more like a narration.
Yeah,
like,
it's not singing, but it's not rapping.
Yeah, it's like weird, like right in the middle.
So he kind of talks, and I think that's one of his. I really like that about him because I think it sets him apart from a lot of different singers out there, which, you know, there's a lot of singers out there.
Right.
But one thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit before we actually get into the lyrics is the meaning of coffee here in Korean society. There was this whole trend where all of these, you know, really big coffee shop chains started coming into Korea. It hasn't been that long since they came into Korea. Now we see them kind of everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, and these girls, these college girls or these you know, office worker girls, they would, you know, every morning they would walk around in these high-heeled shoes with a nice cup of coffee in their hand, and you can kind of see that brand logo on the coffee cup. And they didn't have a really good image because it kind of, I think people kind of started thinking of that as a little bit of a luxury because these coffee chains, the coffee that they sold was really expensive. It was almost like the price of one meal.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that, you know, having that in mind, the lyrics here, it starts out saying 싸구려 커피를 마신다. 미지근해 적잖이 속이 쓰려온다. This means I drink cheap coffee.
Right.
It's lukewarm and it gives me heartburn. So, you know, instead of the nice, expensive sort of brand name coffee, this dude is drinking coffee probably at home, probably one of those mixed coffees that he made himself. And, you know, it's cheap coffee. He probably doesn't have that much to eat at home, so that's probably his breakfast. And, you know, he hasn't eaten anything. He probably, you know, didn't really do anything last night either, so it's giving him heartburn because he's just drinking coffee on an empty stomach. Right. And, you know, the lyrics kind of talks about this, I think it's actually, you know, the younger generation, probably maybe just out of college. It's been very difficult. The economy has been difficult all over the world. And here in Korea, a lot of young people who are very energetic had a lot of difficulty trying to find jobs. So this whole song is talking about basically a jobless person.
A jobless person.
Yeah, so at home, you know, he wakes up in the morning, he doesn't really have anything to do. There's nothing to eat. He drinks a cup of coffee. It's lukewarm. You know, it gives him heartburn. And he looks in the mirror, or he sees a roach passing by. And you know, so every morning he says that 무거운 내일 아침엔 다만 그저 약간의 기침이 멈출 생각을 않는다. And basically, he doesn't want to get up in the morning because he doesn't have anything waiting for him. So he's saying the heavy morning waits me, and my light coughing, it doesn't seem to stop. So he's not in a good condition. He's, you know, probably maybe looking for jobs, or maybe he might have just given up altogether. And, you know, every morning he wakes up and he feels depressed.
Oh, no, that is not... This guy should take medicine.
Right. So I think this song kind of talks about, you know, the situation that a lot of youngsters are in. Because, you know, when you're that age, when you're just out of college, you have all these hopes about what you want to do, you know, what kind of career you want to lead, but there's just not too many opportunities for you.
Right. And like, I feel like especially these days, like it's really hard, like coming out of college and getting a job, because I know there are so many like college graduates and stuff these days.
That's right. So it's been very difficult. So he kind of, you know, he kind of picks at society with this song, which was why I think it gained a lot of popularity, especially among the young generation here in Korea. And he kind of goes on about his life, saying, you know, I look in the mirror and I see the blood splattered from mosquitoes that I've slapped and killed. And you know, there's one part that goes goes, 이제는 장판이 난지 내가 장판인지도 몰라. 해가 뜨기도 전에 지는 이런 상황은 뭔가? And that means I'm stuck to the floor. I can't tell if I'm the floor or the floor is me. And 해가 뜨기도 전에 지는 이런 상황. So basically it just means that he's at home all day because he can see the sun rise and set at the same time. So he doesn't know if the sun's up